please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody. So today I'd like to talk about the Arizona Coyotes because this is a team that has really been struggling here recently. And they need their injured goaltender, Darcy Kuemper, back as soon as possible. Ever since he's gone out with injury, it's been a rough road for Arizona. And this is now a team clinging to their playoff lives. So before we get fully into the video, I want to remind everyone to please hit that thumbs up button and give the video a like. That does help out a lot. And if you are new to the channel, to please subscribe and follow along for all my hockey content. Both of those things would be greatly appreciated. So the Arizona Coyotes were, one of the top teams in the Pacific Division in the early part of this year, and they had a great start to the season. They were in first place for a decent portion of this season, and their goaltender, Darcy Kuemper, was, in my mind, the favorite for the Vezina Trophy before he got injured. He was putting up spectacular numbers. But then a few days before Christmas, I believe December 19th was his final game, he got injured, and it's been a rough road for the Coyotes ever since then. Since Darcy Kuemper has gone down, the Coyotes have seen themselves really drop in the standings, and now recently, their last 10 games, they are only 2-5-3 in their last 10 games. That is 2 wins in their last 10. That is not good. They've dropped all the way down to the bottom wild card team in the Western Conference, and Chicago, Winnipeg, and Nashville are right on their heels trying to take that playoff spot away from them. Chicago and Winnipeg are 3 points behind, and Nashville is 4 points behind with games in hand. So It's not been good here recently for the Coyotes, and they really need Darcy Kuemper back. He's been out for a while now. There's been a lot of talk about him. He's close to return, but he's not quite ready yet. Arizona needs him in that net as soon as possible. And they don't just need him in the net. They need him in the net playing at the level that he was before the injury. If you look at his stats that this season before the injury, he was 15-8-2 on the season with a .929 save percentage and a 2.17 goals against average. I mean, those are Vezina numbers right there. Absolutely outstanding. Antti Raanta has come in and been the starter while Kemper's been out injured, but he's not been terrible, but he's just hasn't been good enough to win this team games. He's 9-11-3 on the season, so an under 500 record. He does have a good save percentage at .913, but he's giving up 2.93 goals a game. So that goals against being almost 3 for a low-scoring team like Arizona is a problem. Kemper's goals against, like I said, was 2.17, so significantly lower than Ranta's. It's just Antti Raanta is not playing well enough to get this team to the playoffs where Darcy Kuemper was. It's Arizona's sinking. They are sinking rather quickly here, especially over the last couple of weeks. We have Chicago, I think, is a team that could definitely make a run. Winnipeg, was in a playoff spot earlier this season. They've not been playing well recently either. But if they ever get things going again, back headed in the right direction, Winnipeg could still make a run. And now we have Nashville, who is only 4 points back, and they've only played 51 games compared to Arizona's 54. So they could potentially make a run as well. It's definitely no guarantee that the Coyotes make the playoffs at this point. Now, on the other end of things, they are still only 6 points out of first place in the division. So, as it's been all year, the Pacific Division is very compact, very stacked on top of each other. And while they are, only in the playoffs by 3 points, they're also only 6 points out of first place. So, It's not like it's been all bad for Arizona, but recently it certainly hasn't been good. And I think the biggest problem with this team is they need Darcy Kuemper back. They were a first-place team with Kuemper in goal. Now they're clinging to a wild card spot without Kuemper. I think there's a clear common denominator there, and they need him back. And they made the Taylor Hall trade before Kuemper went down with an injury. And Hall was supposed to come in and add offense, and that's what he's done. Hall's had almost a point per game with Arizona. He's scoring. That's not an issue, but the Coyotes, if they end up missing the playoffs this year after giving up all those draft picks and assets, prospects for Taylor Hall, and then to not even make the playoffs, that would be an absolute disaster for the Arizona Coyotes. They went out and got Taylor Hall for a playoff run, not just to make the playoffs, but to go deep into the playoffs. And they thought, he was that missing piece of offense that they needed. But then Kuemper got hurt shortly after Hall's arrival, and the season's kind of gone sideways a little bit here for the Coyotes. They have to make the playoffs. Otherwise, that trade is an absolute disaster because they gave up 3 prospects and 2 draft picks for a guy, and then they don't, a pending free agent in Taylor Hall who's probably going to leave in the summer, and then they don't even make the play. That would be a disaster. They've got to get into the playoffs. They need Darcy Kuemper back because if he comes back and plays the way that he was, I think Arizona, without a doubt, is a playoff team. They certainly will make the playoffs if he can do that. Without him, if he has to miss another 3 weeks, maybe even another month, Arizona's in big trouble. They're in big trouble because there are teams nipping at their heels right now trying to take that spot. So, overall, they just need their goalie back. That's what it comes down to in Arizona. This is not a bad team. This is a team that is struggling right now for sure, and they need their starting goalie back, and it's going to be a problem if they don't get him back. Luckily, the good news is, based on what I'm hearing, is that Kuemper should be close to returning. So maybe it's this week. That would be really, really good news for the Coyotes. If not, hopefully at least next week they get him back. And they need to start putting some more points on the board and start getting some more games in the win column, because 2 wins in 10 games is not going to get you in the playoffs, especially when you're a bubble team in the Western Conference. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you guys soon.